Yema Obibia Aquaba Media TV. So this is legal with lawyer Thomas. Yawa debia ye fa topic baako ye beka ho asem. Nti ye straight for say yawa debia mo beba na mo abetie ye give update of the law every Thursday. Nti sebia bibi how abetinya message ye and I say WhatsApp ye na yebetimi aka ho asem. Sa don hwi ye ma lawyer Thomas Akwaba.
Yo.
Nti ene the person ye kan ho asem a child arrangement order. Nti Mr. Thomas ye ka say child arrangement order na ye person ye kire say.
Yes, thank you, Diva. And also thank you to everybody watching us. But said tell me no. Anka yebema some kakra for the benefit of more monte tree no. Na when you say host no the way but be say go be no so 8 kakra the host best was anka say e kwan dem one with me I can't put on the kakra.
Me pacho kana 84 so tea.
Okay, thank you, viewers. Once again, it's an opportunity to meet here. As the host already said, we normally give update of the law, and then we also allow viewers to phone in once the phone lines are open with all their legal questions. And today we are going to discuss a topic under the Children's Act. So we'll be discussing a lot of issues in relation to children and how parents can all contribute to promote the welfare of children. So we'll be looking at the Children's Act, specifically under the private law, and how people who have parental responsibility, which we will go into it in the course of this discussion, can have specific orders or can have residence orders or contact orders or various orders under the Section 8 of the Children's Act. Once we've gone through that, we'll also give opportunity, as I've said, for people to ask questions. And I'm sure that this topic has some connection with immigration. Obviously, we'll also go through that. And then it also has connection with child maintenance and how people who have that parental responsibility towards the children have to exercise that responsibility in terms of their maintenance as well. So that's what we are going to discuss today. So without wasting much time, we are going to make this very interactive and then go through these questions in tree, and then obviously I'm going to summarize it in English at the end of the show with a specific permission or expressive permission from the host, and then people can also phone in and ask questions.
Yeah, that's it, Lawyer Thomas. Inti yense mrepi no, you see bisa say say you can say child arrangement order near per se say.
Yes, you can say child arrangement order. More or less orders are under a Children's Act Section 8, order which me ama obi parental responsibility anya contact with the bano. And I say obi to me enono atna. And I so bit must stop one of the parents and say own to me and be without the other one permission. And I said, if the child is at risk, prohibited steps or the bill also be to me. And all those things will come under the child arrangement. So it's more or less an arrangement between the parents to promote the welfare of the child. That's right.
Okay, so who can make such applications, please?
Yes. The TNSA, I knew beyond 2 years applications. Before the background, no be to me, higher applications, under the Children's Act, which is the main legislation for this particular topic, your mom what they call parental responsibility. And I'm sure say in the course of time they'll be explaining what that also means. I'm going to years applications.
It is your case. What is parental responsibility? And also there.
Yes, before the inception of the Children's Act 1989, which came into force in 1991. Before that, no more parents' right. So when that legislation came into place, they made it parents' responsibility. Now the TNS I know Biana what was our responsibility, but the point and say, sir, responsibility, which you can acquire it through certain ways, and there are a lot of ways to acquire parental responsibility. They are there a more or less responsibility to promote the welfare, the safety of the child.
So, who has automatic parental responsibility? Even more automatically, they have the parental responsibility.
Yeah.
Why no was that? I don't know.
Yes, under the Children's Act, say our phone or warrior automatically more parental responsibility. Someone warrior more than always has that automatic parental responsibility, and then there are other ways people can also acquire that parental responsibility.
How can one acquire that responsibility?
Yes, in fact, apart from more automatic parental responsibility, there are about 6 ways of acquiring parental responsibility. As I've said, if say warrior, naturally say normally mother will have that automatic parental responsibility. So the other ways would be how our unmarried fathers which means that responsibility. And as I said, I see with the first one say Papa no bit me anything, I share birth certificate so that is the first way of acquiring that parental responsibility. The second, say, over time to what you call parental agreement. And also, there are specific requirements to fulfill which in a prescribed order, which means that the court clerk need to sign that form and all that to enter into that agreement. The third option will be where, for example, that person has married the woman. Then once he gets married to the woman, now I also will acquire parental responsibility, even if need birth certificate and so on. And then another option is where the mother or the court appoints a guardian. Now, social workers or child protection officers under the public law, they normally they will be the guardian because they've been appointed as to have that responsibility to protect the welfare of the children. And there are other options like where somebody feels that he should have parental responsibility. Now will apply for what they call parental order from the court. Now, normally, people all normally in a birth set, so both is a colony and a back. If you understand, we apply for parental order to the court, now court, I'm man, sir, we normally say, yeah, we sometimes because I know your colony, you may also apply what they call contact order jointly. Not what to me, for us parental responsibility.
Okay. So how can a parent lose parental responsibility of a child?
Yes, said your name to me boy say church a bit me aba say court no be discharge sa order no. A bit me aba say for example sa agreement na omo put in place no, they may decide to vary it. And if most cases, you know, akola not 10, 16 or 18 at that point, na akola na you know, that's why so those people will lose that parental right or responsibility. Normally, it is the right word should have been right, but because the legislation wants to be something focused on promoting the welfare of the kids, you know. So all those rights, you know, are exercised towards the safety and promoting the welfare of the kids rather than parents' own benefit. You know, that's how people can use it.
How can one also acquire parental responsibility?
I think when I was more or less asking the various categories of people now, or which me acquire responsibility, you know. I incidentally
you said that.
Answered it, yes. So it's either the court making that order agreement or putting your name on the birth certificate or getting married to the woman who is the mother of the child. And then those forms are ways of fulfilling that requirement.
Into parental responsibilities, there's so much will be the same.
Yes. Very, very good question. I think another idea about the main topic we know. The point is that so per se who exercise say right, you know. Let's say for example contact with a child, or per se when you what they call residence order, and how per se when you specific order. For example, say opesa kolano na mama ntumi mfa no ko school we without your consent, and now to me mfa no ko holiday and certain places without your consent. Say when you have parental responsibility to be able to exercise that right. And Beyebenwo no, so if you say kolano so no, especially the child abduction no, say be a mama no person no ko tena Ghana and baby a umpa. Once we to me apply for prohibitive steps order, now I stop on. But we will discuss these things in detail. But essentially, you know, some of the benefits are the go officer, but because we need parental responsibility, we need to say, yeah, you be able to me. Because legally, in 1 year, recognized to have that responsibility to me, and yes, so. That's
now bet me aka say uti woni mi say oba whereby when ye DNA ana bibi ana wona oba na wona waje ne say oba.
Yes, the TN say they na me can say ekoba say ubisa kola na your oba na just say you need to have parental responsibility in order to be able to exercise our right, you know. So which means that you may have to apply for parental responsibility order. Now under the Family Law Reform Act 1969, if I'm correct, section 20, no, the court has a discretion to ask for blood samples for you to show say Beyebenwo, that's right.
Okay. What orders can the court make in favor of parents with parental responsibility?
Yes. That's why I was trying very hard not to jump some of your questions. The TNC in America is also related to benefits of having that parental responsibility. Which means say who was right now, which me akwadano court now I'm making some orders, which is what section 8 orders the big member say be prohibited steps order office be my man baby or the akula no kono on penny, which me I'm making application to the court to stop it. A be out pastor assistant in school, not then a cover be a officer, and you wait to me has to pay him to make an application. And now to me apply for the residence order or contact order, which is mainly what we are discussing today.
Okay, so what is contact order?
Yes, contact order no, is normally, as Edino Chireno, is normally an order that allows a parent na and you know near Colana Netino to have contact with the child. Did that contact, there can be different ways of having it. I'm sure they will be either indirect or direct, depending on the way a court will be decided how that contact should take place. Yes.
Okay. So who can have contact order for a child?
Yes. Normally, or more to me, any contact order for the child, no. And only or more was a parental responsibility na I explain, which is the father whose name is on the birth certificate. And they will apply for parental responsibility order, or the children's guardian, or the person who has married the woman who is the mother of that child, or those who have entered into agreement, or whoever has entered into agreement with the mother on that parental order agreement. Those are the categories of people.
How do you enforce the contact order if the other parents refuse to obey?
Yes. You see, MPP, nkofo beboka na omoye contact arrangement order. Court no be make decision. Say, as much as ebia you should have contact with the family because we are parental responsibility. Now, while boka wa na wanya sa order no, if you do not be one of the parties, and my point man sa akola no, and and you can go to the enforcement stage. The enforcement stage is where, for example, most times say nipakono ani order no so it's normally some orders will make it specific say to be contempt of court. Now some of them also have penal code, and sometimes, for example, if the other party na so they can even have community order. Normally it might not be custodial, which is nipakono to be a community sentence to punish that person who has not followed the order. And if Sewanya contact arrangement order and the other party is not obeying that order, you have the right to enforce it in those rules in so you don't just have to ignore it.
Okay. So what is immigration? Is it immigration
benefit to all these things? Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Obviously, you look at the immigration side of it, is because so under the appendix FM now, and I'm sure that a lot of them may have similar questions or will have similar problems. Even last week, program will be beside a question about studio number, so I'm thinking I want to finish. I will answer this question. But obviously, the background explanation now, it will answer some of the questions apart from the fact that I will answer that question specifically. Now, the immigration benefit is this. And pre-Pinoy application that happened the FM now. One, the want if se oka se oba na se bia oba no ya wonu kuma si na kwa na 7 years or more wo won kwan se obitimi aya application now mama another 10-year route 2.5 until you get your indefinite leave to remain another 10-year route, and eventually sakolana so ebe British and also no you could apply under the 5-year route, if the child is British, and then fulfilling the immigration status and all that. But the point is that your application now, Home Office, these applications are based on human right, which is your right to family life. And your right to family life involves having a relationship with your child. And therefore, if Sawawu Akolano, na me person go 14 years, na sakolano yoba na only akolano need contact biana. Na just way our application will be to me refuse because akolano only needs to have family life no. And in 2 person we can also the application, you know. And the immigration benefit and say my menom per se ubi hu akola no for whatever reason, you know. So we make sure say obey make application for start contact order no. Some of them are crying put be or crampo na ebi ano na ma nete na omuntem wan say na ma menom per se obi hu akola ni bi. Now, say when to me, I make his contact arrangement order now. A district say be a person renew visa now. O make us on farm because akola you are no longer living with the child. And now we need BBI say when akola no contact. Some of them maybe they still play a role by taking akola to school near there. But once akola no say district be say normally we do be 13. Some of these order can be in place up to the age of 16 or 18, depending on the circumstances. And immigration benefit requires that this contact order will enable you to be renew application. So, and it will also enable you to make fresh application. Now, let me put it this way, especially for Omoa, Omoni will be out this time. If we are no be out, now my say. Men within and to akola no birth certificate because me within to akola no birth certificate no so a obitumi e da ye nkrata enti me within to so. Now say we will be find yourself in that situation now. Family law the Children's Act makes provisions for that. So again, I'm still explaining the immigration aspect provisions and I say one. And so we'll make sure so we'll apply for parental order. So they're not make church anymore. Which means what do I go down court and say, as soon as I call out with me, say, I am the protective father of this child. And on that basis, I want to have contact with the child. Now under the Family Law Reform Act 1969, Section 20, the court has the discretion to ask for blood samples, which is the word you call DNA. And where's our way now? Then you'll be allowed to get that order if it confirms that you are the DNA, you are the father. Now, yeah, I'm confused through. Immigration and family law are quite distinct. In the assuming says a yes application in my will be office be meaning crata, my men whom I address because best name Yamako court or by immigration for mammy. No, we can ask the court that we address now or the application, family court application, should not be disclosed to anybody, which means that Saobano no what your man's on who will be out because that address will be confidential and only be disclosed to a lawyer or representative. And having said this, there are a man or they also have similar circumstances where Obuwa one Mamenao no say Memfa Medin to so because Medin to so Mameni Benya Nkata Makolano. Now wakina so Eddie Akoye on one Kasan Krata. And because of that, again, this arrangement, discussing parental, obviously, was that way. You can also make application to the court under the same my experience for that father under the Family Law Reform Act to provide that blood samples to show that he is a father, and on that basis, you can use that one to make application.
say oh yes we ye DNA na say ma me na ampene ama wa amnya akra no some bibi ankwanko ye DNA na how would that work? But then ya DNA a friend is saying lawyer no bet me ako authorize say ye kwako ya akra ni DNA na say we di akra no call hospital ni DNA oba me say o ma wunya access to akra no. In that case no be dan ya akra ni DNA.
Yes, and America say we apply for parental order now. That order no, the father of that child. So you are applying to the court to declare you and give you that parental order. That is under the Children's Act 1989, Section 18. And then, in addition to that, under the Family Law Reform Act 1969, Section 20, if I'm correct now, it also allows the court to have that discretion to compare the other person or no, to provide that DNA blood sample for the DNA. And and yeah, they are with me. I can't say, or more immigration problems, or there is answer there for them.
Okay.
It's just a matter of dealing with the family, dealing with the family law aspect of that situation, and then eventually extending it to renew your immigration documentation. And I must also say, some of these things, obviously legislation, is there to promote the welfare of the children. So, because it's obvious that it's always better for children to have contact with both parents, at least the father and the mother. And I'm pretty now, it looks like their fathers now all this situation. But sadly, there are exceptional cases where some mothers are also struggling to have contact with their own children. They also have to exercise the same right. I'm sure among child protection officers and the social workers and all that, they are very much aware and they come across most of these cases where even mothers are having similar problems, having contact with their own children. So it works for both male and female. Yes.
Okay. To what extent does the child arrangement order affect child maintenance payment?
Good. Yes, it's a very good question. Only say that me start say me church adi we make be what they call residence order. Now the contact order is different from the residence order. Contact order obviously which is also part of the child arrangement order, allows the parent. So that parent could be either the father or the mother. And I'm going to say something very distinct when it comes to this child maintenance, but I'm taking my time to get there. So it allows either the father or the mother who is not living with the child to have contact. So that's the contact order with the child. That contact can be direct, which is bia ofa kolano ewia bia imri na wode naba ana say obitime akosia kolano center, which is under what they call supervision order. And no because of one is not the other, no person make sure say obi ho no mo ansana what to me ehu akolano. And now two or indirect contact where be able to me send messages to Akolano on birthday and all that. So that one you don't have that direct contact. But the residence order and I determine how much maintenance you should pay, because obviously you are paying that maintenance because and you want Akolano net and the parent Akolano net and so this is Kanmana or the Eshakolano. So which means that say parent and Akolano that or that and change 7 days in a week now. I just say calculations on it will be based on 7 days now on Eshakolano. Into no will be 3 more. Assuming say where your application now what they call residence order. Now that residence order means that you are sharing that caring of the child with the mother. And in this case, either say, yeah, I call another time Monday to Friday. Now I bet now change Saturday, Sunday. In the other side, so the whole my child maintenance now notify more. The number of time or days or spent with my has reduced. And the payment now almost so onyano. So reduced because it's assumed that you also spend it. Inside say, yeah, go for back as mean child maintenance, be there, Jumaye. Now I frustrate you. No. And he say, Ocas beer, a colaska or bema or banity, and I'm a man of my buffon to be jaw, Juma, no, I'm life, I am miserable. Who lawyer? Because you have that right to share that caring of that child with the parent. You have equal right once you have that parental responsibility. No, and so to me, I say, a bit more as a crowd, these days people are working from home. What media plan school, maybe 2 days. Now, I'm also quite bit and you guys may share that, be overheard about 3 days, not be for 4 days. Sometimes, from my experience, the court wants both parents to have the child on weekends as well. To be a friend say one parent to have it for Saturday and Sunday. Sometimes they can even share it both Saturday and Sunday, and or you can also have it in weekdays. And I want to say, if you are making payment of maintenance, don't be frustrated or don't say that I'm going to stop working because of that. Because depending on relationship with the child, if you have that residence order now, obey to me, I'll reduce you the payment of the maintenance. Not as being cynical, but for the benefit of the child. Another thing is say, under the same Children's Act now they're discussing. Sometimes some parents, in this case, a bit my men and papa no. When try somebody that you can make specific order application under the Children's Act to stop Mameno from taking the child. I have dealt with cases of that nature. Where be a Mameno to has it. Or per se be a question wills, no their colano course, the beer. You can, that's right. Because so the colano qua, not just 7 days in a colano plan chain. And also, you pay more maintenance. And if you have a lawyer, you can contact that person. Wait to me and make a specific order application to stop that parent taking that child away from that particular locality, simply because their relationship are breaking down. And again, I'm saying this because sometimes, and papa phone maintenance. It will surprise you, say sometimes mothers also pay maintenance. Of course, social services will tell you where I know some
women are
yes, or yeah, my papa knows if you was on or and some of course some fathers are claiming maintenance from women, and I'm aware, and I'm sure some mom with child protection officer and all that, they are aware of all these things, and say it's not just fathers. Sometimes mothers also pay maintenance. Yes, so that's about the maintenance.
Like Thomas said, as he said, what she answer na ube summarizing or brofono. It's straight to for say Ibeko break, commercial break, na yenya advert from our sponsors. That's it.
Yes, said it. Now, me come. I mean, some of these things, it's not just the mothers.
Yeah.
You can have it to everybody.
Okay, but usually, no, a man, yes, sir.
He's just writing something.
Yeah, mo bibia akwaba eba City Media TV so baby a yedru no ye besre lo ya Thomas say obetimi aka ntwem a yebo so nyina e wo potokasem so that omo manti ase no omo so benya opportunity ati ase tie lo ya Thomas manenko.
Thank you all for your patience. I know there are some people that we have to acknowledge. They've always been there. I'm sure next time the host will go through the Facebook comments and then acknowledge all of you for your commitment and for always being there to watch and listen to some of these updates of the law. I must say that every advice that has been given tonight under our disclaimer is for guidance only. Whoever wants to rely on this advice to proceed with the matter may seek proper independent advice. And if you don't have a lawyer and you want to contact City Law Solicitors for us to advise you further or to take up your case, we'll be willing to do that. Now, tonight we'll be looking at child arrangement order under the Children's Act 1989. We'll be discussing those who are eligible to make that application under the Children's Act. We'll look at those who have parental responsibility. And we've looked at those who are married to the mother of the child, they have that automatic responsibility, or the mother of that child. You look at those who also may enter into what they call parental agreement with the mother to have that parental responsibility. And then those who can apply to the court for parental order. And where the mother or the court also appoints a guardian, those people might also gain that parental responsibility. Now, once one has gained that parental responsibility, obviously, there are all those who can also put their name on the childbirth certificate. That person might also gain that parental responsibility. And those who eventually get married to the mother of that child, they also gain that parental responsibility. Now, what is the benefit of this parental responsibility among the 6 categories that I have just enumerated? The benefit is that once you have that right or responsibility under the law, you can make application for applications such as contact order, which allows you to have contact with your child. That contact can be direct or indirect. Now, if the contact is direct, it means that you may have the child to play with in the garden, or you could also go to a center which is supervised contact to have direct contact with the child. Or sometimes you may have just indirect contact where you can only exchange messages with the child, either on the child's birthday or special occasions like Easter, Christmas. And there are those people who can also make the same, if you have the same parental responsibility, you can also make what they call residence order which allows you, if the child is not living with you, the child can spend some nights with you and then spend some nights with the other parent. Again, you can also have a right, if you have that parental responsibility, to make what they call specific order application. That again also allows you to stop the other parent from doing certain things against the interests of the child. Because it's all about the welfare of that child. And then there is also what they call prohibitive steps order, where if you feel the child is at risk and you have that parental responsibility, you can make application to the court to stop the parent from taking certain actions if you feel the child is at risk. Now, normally when you are making a child arrangement order under the law, you have to start with what you call mediation, and then eventually if that mediation fails, then you then make your application to the court when the satisfied mediator has certified that you have undertaken those relevant procedures. For those who may feel that the child is at risk, there is no need for you to go through that process. You can go straight away to the court. So that's about going about this child arrangement order. The same applies to the residence order and then other specific orders that I have just enumerated. We also look at the benefit of these applications to your immigration situation. And I said that if you have that order, because normally the Appendix FM applications considers family life with your child. If you have a contact order application or residence order in place, then automatically you fulfill that requirement that you have relationship with that child, and on that basis, if you are seeking to make application subject to fulfilling the other relevant requirements, you will be able to make your application successfully. And I also took my time to explain those of you who may have a child with somebody who doesn't want you to have your name registered on the birth cert. You also have that right to make application to the court under the same relevant legislation. And then under the Family Law Reform Act 1969, you also have that right to, for description, to provide blood samples for that purpose. So we've looked at that. And then we also looked specifically at residence order and how that can also affect maintenance. Because normally the maintenance is the number of, normally the maintenance you pay to the other parent whom the child resides with is dependent on the number of days or nights they spend with that parent. So if you have a shared residence order, then of course you can reduce that payment, and then you can have that independence of using the same funds to also look after the child rather than paying it to the other parent for the upkeep of that child. So we looked at all this tonight, and at this point the host will proceed.
Thomas said, I see baby, so let me summarize it. And some I teach him in a potocasem, our moment here, Cassano, so at Yassi. Samri, baby, phone lines, not to be your person free, be your betting me afraid. In telephone number, so person free WhatsApp is +4479 329 34518. And now bet me afraid direct as well 0744 033 8623. Yes, right here for say some person mo friend. Some numbers here me there today. During studio hours, ye baha Thursdays now. And I use this number. So open lawyer Thomas na kasa number. Ye bet your screen so and I say inbox here. WhatsApp.
Hello.
Facebook. Hold on. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Good evening.
Good evening.
Me pacha obetimi aka adekrenti a ofre.
Me uncle be no share juma say nyime ya na ode na question na jam ntino. Me bi sa oba no abeboy ti.
Me pacha yo.
Nti. Na sam na say one abayo bi tonight na one no wo ye. Abayo no ono ye EU family member. Ne mama ne papa na de no. And the figure na buy na ono omo de omo ye EU ne mama ne papa ndi EU for. Nti na okura 5 years. And all the tear. Nti one abayo no ewo baako. Nti omo wo ye no. From that time no ko sign birth certificate in Saka, all right. But if free one onya access obano block on onya access to Akurana be until now. Be 6 years in 5 to 6 years now. But see Akurana kura indefinite. Omoya settlement scheme Akurana indefinite onya settled status. And I'm a man so ekura settled status. I'm still a unyanya access to Akurana. Nti one abusiafo no ene ne obana abusiafo obana amena papa ne obana sofu abba mama maka asem no ajasia ya adwuma nti se sia de wanya access no na question person bisa ne say wanya access na omatra se wanya no person bisa say instead of child arrangement order omwanyanye but ombetimi ama lawyer aye consent order bi anaso mo bokrata bi aye kire say tisia de obano wagia tumi say tisia de ya abranche no ommehu ne ba no for brano brane bi a time bi say omra maybe once a week or twice a week and weekends tisia de wa man access no so we say lawyer beti mama mo bokrata bi e de confirm say de no.
Okay. But why was the kind line? So hold on, why? Let me answer. We will come back to you. Now, the TN said, in some now can that's correct. And pre-P, they're not Mr. American. Family court no crime before I'll be on be expect so be call for mediation. Now, say, want to me, I agree, and not obey application in court. And this is here, so more tears here. Parents, both parents, Matthias, say, as soon as contactor. Said they all kind of to me, I draft what they call consent order. Now, you're quite register no court. Into register no court now, it's just like say, via or mama contact order now. So, terms that Obi-Hua Kolano near Denina will be stated in the that's consent order, now register of court. Intino, there possible. It is a back on uni lawyer answer or lawyer bit me lawyer, only lawyer answer per se boy bit me abuana. Yes, consent order we know amam. So the bear will bit me have a continuous contact with the ban. Why?
Now, officer says who said we need a proof beer from some retention in anti a no when you access no. No man over born to see a fina over co GP or dinny diacoto. Now, co school should dinny diacoto. From stab if you sabri econo, and no man over gadan for maybe for 1 year and 6 months. I okay or the Papa Jacratana.
Good. The Tian said your work. So, yeah, applications, no, said me church him. Who here either said the GP in our work. And answer our consent order no. And answer school phone be confirm. But so when you training now, I say, oh yeah, inquire now there now be bregu. But in actual fact, consent order no quite is enough. One you know, obit me the ignorance of their application, I'm not successful. Again, so ni lawyer and answer per se boy, a bit me a boy study background.
Intina chese GP hono unyanya because GP no se obano ne boyfriend fufura wonya ne dinsha onti afina nka okwa akuyi ena school hono so ne boyfriend wona ne teno ne dinsha onti afina okwa akuyi inti that no consent order no kwa okay
But I said American you need either of all these documents now what can not all of them So what you
say? Back
when you okay. To do all no more own to me answer consent or done. Be a give you confirmation a colano bar appointment or the bar or baby and answer via within or emergency contact list so say school or so and then switch to the passer. But say when you constant or done Nancy court no we are a show terms so the colana is more than sufficient to make application with it without the other documents. Why?
It's your number will screen so I'll be a lawyer and yes message and I am for lawyer personal number so that
anyway
Thursday one a my bus studio ha and yeah message and I am for lawyer personal number so that to bet me a friend. Why? That's
okay.
Second caller. Hello. Oops.
Hello.
Kafrao, say. Sorry, say I'm away just watching.
Oh, sorry.
Me pacho, ubet me aka the currency our free.
Oh, okay. And the currency my friend is Anderson. Many Uncle Peter, last year I'm a free.
But I never more than anything, why?
Okay, fine. And so the fact. I can't be maybe of that be man say I check we can't and I check. So we don't buy me man say I don't about lawyer file na fine about the file me choose me and the moon to the seven bro.
Bet me I can bro feel free in a
Peter, you can speak English, but Peter, please make it very short for us today. So
me say, ubet me a camera for yeah, okay. And then make it short as well.
Nobody finds because they know how much they too much. Just be out there how much they to make it be done a life man. And I check the mobile and found that you are what but I'm or see why are they who you baby be a one and make Dillian Mokran the map, make do. And Tiafa, who is being made of my men or her name, who Papa Riafa, a being and control another birth certificate. So, into many or no mammy in Ania Padania called Registrar for Births and Deaths and Marriages. That would come here, about the birth certificate. They did begin to about the birth certificate. So,
Mr. Peter, if I say, me who say, what is the problem in Tia Frey? Because there's so in Tia and for February air train like our line. So,
problem in Tia, those friends say, can you hear it?
Yes, please, yeah.
Fine. So, now, full stop, the next paragraph. What I'm saying is that can I apply under the Freedom of Information Act to continue seeing my child when she's 18 and over and under the Family Law Act? What you have here, because and under the Human Rights Act. Because at the age of 8, in the sense of better system, there's an age of consent and an age of a lawyer. Madam Fododo, the lawyer, my brother, I mean, they have been doing this no problem.
But Mr. Peter, who lawyer personal number, me boy? Okay, because of say you be a line way. You be a line where because I be a line where Kofo be bromu dinetri to me pacho bomodiana friend lawyer number.
Peter.
Lawyer will get back to you. Is that okay?
Peter, let me answer your question, please. Yeah? Let me answer your question. Yeah, you can end the call and then listen through the from the Facebook. Okay, yes, I will answer your question, please. Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
Let this person.
Hello.
I want to comment on Peter's question.
Me patro jina so kakra my.
Yes, Peter. If I heard you right, we'll say Akolana the 18. In fact, normally, no, Children's Act for children up to 16 all the way to 18. In this Akolana the 18, I don't think you probably it will be necessary to obey your application to have contact, because at that point in that Akolana can decide and that is what I can say. This is for children right from the age of a day all the way to 16 or 18, and a year come once, which is what the Children's Act defines. Until for that reason, that is the answer I will give to you. But what has seen bit to me, I'll go ahead with your question.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Yeah. Medical friend, me feel or taste said maybe some question. Ne circumstance do ha me nimu na opese me kutima na moka na answer no de obeti, but minimum tin na o se me present man no na antinata no say na organa na one bema bi ware ho na o mo ho na bema no ba kuroimi entino omuntem tete omuja ware o kratas bibi o mukutwa o maware na bema no de ensra and the buy na and ono so no ono ani fa kwan bi sin ware obi na ombet oba kurimu nti one obi aware omotro ono omotro mbabi nti no omotro wakwa akonya ni indefinite ama indefinite no wanya British child back and wanya indefinite but was separate every ni kunu British na oba or no free Ghana or then buy no omajaware but one indefinite or one British child and then nipa na before the one no war or Ghana no one no after second akora ama waje British book man na moment timum and will be say because no omaware before and sana come separate ways but omo be share okrumhan na omo say awo second British child no the obema no dada no ano no Ghana na omo nyina be share obetime gina ni second British child no so e dey adjust na
okay dem pense but you na so kakra pense me hu ne say maame no one be ma na ofi Ghana ba no no ho no ma wo sa British child we
Daddy, no, Mamma, no anyway.
No, but I'm saying the last child, yes, who is the father of the last child?
The ex, no,
do figure na buy na the ex no figure na ba no nin krata me boy. No, the father of that child.
Second British child.
Good. Yes. The answer is this. Say person we application under the Appendix FM as a parent or for the relevant child. Normally, when they say relevant child under the law, it's either a child born here up to the age of 7, who has spent 7 years or more under 18, or a child who is a British. Now, in this case, they all kind of say, "Akolani a British," and Papa Yoni Nkrate or an ex, he is the father. Now, as long as he is the father of that child, so that now you church relationship with the child, that's one on the same address. And I say, or to different address, or to me show say, or play a role in the child's life. For example, to me who Kolano, and I say, be I say, Omoko keep appointment once a while, and he's there. And I say, Kobase school now, Modia Kolana kwa. And even if Sakolano kwa, Nyama way nano, third party evidence in the honomo. Which is if I don't know not the same address. Now I'm going to make sure say I'm passing Uhuan Kolana, Mama no, Papa no, entitled to make application straight away for 10-year route to indefinite leave to remain under that British level as a father of a British child. Why?
Yo. Now, omo kwanse mutim warrant so omo warrant papa ewo kroma. So if you are decided say
yes.
Decided say okay, no me no na ha ni twam. And I'm about and I'm about and I'm smooth twam. But see yes denti adada. Yetimi san kasu e de kwa ban esan de ti. Say bia opese emu ya de on pese o san tena boma. Eno nso so possible enkofa nsinsan so bia emma obana.
If I understand it correctly, Pamenone Nikun or Tene by Energy. So Mojaya under the law, no, she is entitled, as long as the divorce was valid, she is entitled to get married. Now, getting married in this country, obviously, under the law, again, Papa no ko ninkrata, and Mama on Quincy, Utumi Warwas, because there is nothing a just own to me worry. Then we no notice of intention. They are not at the says so proof of address shows say or proof of address and a proof of ID. Or notice of intention now obviously because we need grata then Home Office will be notified. But in the end, because he is the father of a British child, he will not be subject to any removal because even if that happens, of which my application. But under our real rules, she is completely entitled to marry as long as they are both free to enter into that marriage. Why?
Yeah, that's the way.
Yes, that's so afraid.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.
Okay.
Yeah, I try, and I will be afraid.
Yes. Last week there was a question. Somebody posted a question. I want you to read it. Then I can take my time. I'm sure that person is probably listening. The question is: please, I have 6-year child living with. I have 6-year child living with her mother and her new partner. I don't have access to the child for about 5 years now. She has certain status under the European regulation, and her mother has certain status under the European regulation. They are both EU. I think we have another call.
Hello. Hello, good evening.
Evening.
Me pacho betimi aka adekronti a ofre.
Yeah, so there were such problem maybe with the advice.
Okay. Koso na cheche mu chere na lawyer so
we made mature 18 years so we made a review na ono no krata and I'm missing new krata and akola na nya 10 na ye wo ye me no what 5 years and oban is son name e koye problem in 2017 and they don't call court and your mommy court mommy said making a every Saturday. No one abolishing that court will or change the address with to free the authority of free school and media koye and the Tracy school hall or Mokatre headmistress Nekajan said or be ready Sakola or Senate Apple and all sort of Emma the sign every no a court you Lambina court when they said almost sign every still that basically get on to the so the money 2.5. Now the girl has been so stubborn said you will across the lack of court and a lot, but court is not fair. All that situation. So they say I send a renew but because they mean access to the Aqualan, Ama, and they give me 2.5 no coin, almost 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah, Thomas.
Yes. Say, me tell you, I think say with Nasu Mamena, I want to clarify some few things. If you can mute the Facebook we now now.
My free.
Okay. Okay, and then you can listen to it from the phone. Why?
Okay.
Okay. Now, all Casano, we say, unya order. And 2017, Mameno relocate along the line, and I was not renew. What's not renew order now? What is the current position? What is the current position? Currently, do you have any child arrangement order in place?
Child arrangement order, no, objective was the disobeying on Macra, the DSS, the name is here.
Yes. Okay. 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 All right. Okay, okay. Every 2 o'clock, we're there 4 hours. Every 2 o'clock for them. You go have a prayer. Said you may go or pan or back. One so a little man by you have here there 10 minutes. Then what yes. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Then I have to take it say okay. And yeah, then
okay, okay. I'm sorry to hear all this. You see, that's why I was taking my time to explain some way now. If you have the order in place that Nani Bakono is not following the order, you have to go to the enforcement stage. Now, obviously, if he doesn't follow the order, some of this, it will be contempt of court. Until say, or you know, a couple of times now, court, the court may put sometimes penal notice or yes, now she might even go for a community sentence where she will be punished for not following the order, because obviously this is a law and the law will be inactive if people don't abide by it. So the court expects that when such orders are made, people abide by it. But sometimes, because we don't know our right, we don't enforce it. Because if he is not following the order, you have to enforce it to ensure say he adheres to that order. The other point in say, I'm not clear whether that order is still in place, because obviously if the order is still in place, I don't see why it should affect your application, because as long as the order is in place, then you should be able to rely on it to say to renew application, So and changing the address in America say you could have gone for what they call specific order to stop this woman from changing the children's school. It's completely allowed, because at that point you have an order in place. So what you should have done is that the moment you became aware, say, of a source is not for any school, you should have gone to court to stop her. The other point is that if you can't find baby or tia, normally we have experts that we use that the court free say, assuming it's a parent or say baby, we just have to do a search, pay an expert to do a search and tell us that this is where he lived. And then you'll be able to use that one to make the application and inform the court, say, based on evidence our gathered, you reasonably believe the harness is here permanently. So sometimes it's all about getting a lawyer who is going to take you through some of these things, because I know that some parents are quite evasive when it comes to adhering to these orders. Why? Child maintenance, I'm paying £90 a week and
And then £20, and I have my core it's too much for one child. And almost 2 years, £90 a month. Just last week, no year, 300 a month. And I've written to them, say, these schools are Colano,
we share scrolling text now Facebook page one my mobile number no and office contact number and so on. Until if you contact us, I will be able to assist you. I think what you need is some legal help. Why?
Yeah, that's so afraid. Okay, bye.
Yes. Say the name can yes, I was reading. I want to answer this question because Nipakono did last week. I didn't see it. In Nipakono, the officer said he has a 6-year child living with the mother and a new partner. So the mother has a new partner. I don't have access to the child for about 5 years now. She has settled status under the EU settlement scheme, and the mother has settled status under the EU settlement scheme. They are both EU family members. Not EU nationals. How can I depend on my daughter to regularize my stay? If asked a lawyer to speak or write to her to allow me have access, and she agrees, can I use evidence from now on to apply for a visa? Yes. The question now will be what Professor Ochene said. Akolano, I think it's also settled status, and I mean it's what settled status. But no, immigration we know based on Akolano. So let's look at Akolano. Now, sometimes comfort make us be EU settlement scheme, be a indefinite leave to remain under the scheme. It means which is pre-settled status. It means indefinite leave to remain under the settlement scheme. So the starting point is that start question we know. Say the Pakoni here. If say Akolano you won't know how say Akolano is 7 years or more, then it doesn't matter say indefinite leave to remain, because according to among EU nationals or family members keke. And you know, Sakolano no hana odi or say 5 years ago, so I assume say be Akolano by now it be our deep 7 years or more. If that's the case now, Sakolani enkuta indefinite leave to remain under the settlement scheme no kwana by the mere fact Sakolani 7 years ukuma say no papa no or home so with my application. The other point of also be say maame no or to me no now on a year agreement and as my lawyer tro na maame no gitu mu a obitumi de na so da en krata na dan science yes so maame no gitu mu either say on maame no be sign agreement say see a no to me hu akola no to be a be fan PP and to me BBC ananse bia the be say or may draft constant order to say that now the other person can na omodi akokot na court no actually as satisfies our order no na ultimately na so they are granted. They say if you are watching us today we question now be say no the answer is yes. So our lawyer we to me contact the lawyer no na waboa only lawyer na say if you want to contact us to help you, we will also be willing to help.
Okay, let's say that's it. Yeah, Chayama ETF will be a friend. With me, I can the update of the law also kakra actually say it is a DNA echo.
Yes, this year no I don't say na mistake can healthcare act na say omo yejimo care home no omo compulsory say omo being vaccines, no? Otherwise the employer can rely on it for refusing to do it, to dismiss them. It's coming into force 11th of November this year. So I better say for And Chisiano, another interesting case is about a tribunal, especially for Omoya Omoko British children who have a British passport. Akolano is entitled to British passport. Or say many passport to Makolano because a friend say now under the law, if it is shown say there is an abusive relationship, then in this case, sir parent to media so without necessarily getting consent from sir parent to apply for British passport for the child. It is a conform so and so. More sad to be anymore. Say me here further advice. Now more lawyer, I'm sure sir lawyers who are familiar with this can help. The only lawyer announce what per se, yes, well, you need to know what was our coin. And those are the updates, both under the Healthcare Act and the Immigration law or citizenship law. No? That's what, or nationality law. That's the update I have for listeners tonight. Yes.
Now, Thomas, I see baby say, and also your friend, what me buy now by church in Simo. Say at the moment, Nya college be BMT. Do you have something to say? I'm not say we will end the program. Professor Kabibi.
Yes, I want to thank everybody, those who are watching, those who have asked questions today, for your commitment and dedication to always come and watch us as we give updates of the law and discuss topical areas of the law. I'm urging all of you who are watching to share these videos. This video might not be beneficial to you, but it's probably going to be very, very, very helpful to someone else. So we are urging those of you who are watching to share these videos and to make sure that your family members and friends can also benefit from this program. We will always be here every Thursday, 8 p.m. giving a lot of updates of the law. So we want to entreat you guys to continue watching us. As I always say, apart from discussing the family law under the child arrangement order tonight, we also specialize in personal injury and clinical negligence. So if for whatever reason you have been involved in accident that was not your fault, then we are here to assist you to claim the compensation that you rightly deserve. If you went for treatment under the NHS and you felt that you went with one sickness, maybe it has multiplied, and you feel that there is an element of negligence, we are here again to also claim the compensation that you deserve under the clinical negligence law. For those of you who obviously have issues, for example, going through divorce, you need a lawyer to assist you with your financial asset orders, or if you have any relevant family law issues, you can contact us. We are willing to assist. If for whatever reason you have immigration problems or nationality law or asylum or any immigration problem, you can contact us. City Law Solicitors, again, we are here to assist. We also specialize in employment law, and those of you who will be having issues with your employers, or if you are an employer and you want a lawyer to assist you so that you can understand the law and be able to abide by the law so that you don't have unnecessary claims being made against you by employees. We are here to also support those employees. Those of you who are employees who are also having problems, City Law Solicitors, we are here to assist you. We also specialize in civil litigation. If you have insurance problem, if you have debt problem, if you have commercial dispute, and all these areas of law, you can always contact us. Our number is on the screen under the scrolling text. Our office is in Barking. You can always contact us and we will be here to assist you. Thank you very much for watching us tonight. God richly bless you.
Thomas, now you also a catcher must say, ya what they be a 8 o'clock and you are into a stream waiting for Moncoswana Monche every Thursday. Now, Thursday be a lawyer Thomas. Ebeba, we will come with a new topic. Or a bit changing watching. See, we been so how I dream. I'll bet me inbox here and Facebook and our WhatsApp message here. Bet BB and Mamma until Damase. Someone ya bray. Am I? I'm waiting. Moncoswana Montier. Mon share messages now or WhatsApp, Facebook platform will be our because be a near sermon. On share and I'm fan supporting until that will be I say. You be share beam now, what you're saying. Bye.
Bye.